On this episode of Shop Talk, we're going to take this wadded up mess of wires and turn it into this clean little harness that we can use to flash LS computers right here on the bench. And we're starting right now. So our first step is going to be to take this red plastic cover off the outside here so we can get in and release all of the terminals for the wires. It's really simple. If you got a pick or a real small screwdriver, you can just push in there on the little tab and then it allows for it to slip right off through here. You see that? Yep. So get those off out of the way real quick. And since this is going to be a bench harness and it's going to be inside always, I think we're going to go ahead and just pull this rubber off so we don't have to have that in the way either. So our next step is going to be to eliminate any of these pins that we don't need. So if you look really close, right at the top of every one of those, there is a number. And if you print off a pinout sheet, you can actually go through and read what each one of those wires are actually supposed to go to. I'll just skip all that for you guys, and I'll tell you that it's number 1 and number 40 on the red side that are the only ones you're going to need, and both of those are ground. So it's pretty simple to get these out. They basically are just another little tab that you pop up, and then you can give it a little bit of a push. Once you've got the clip released, and then they'll just push right on through. And then comes right out the other side. So now with all the wires out of there, this is what the red side looks like. Like I said, 2 wires, pretty simple. Both of those are going to end up being ground. We'll just go ahead and pop these covers back on here. We'll finish up everything we got to do on the red side, and then now we'll move on to the blue. Set this to the side. It's got a few more wires than the red side, but not too awful many. I've got my pinout sheet here for the blue side. And yes, I've got a green highlighter up here. I didn't have a blue highlighter, I'm sorry. But we've got the number 1 and the number 40 black grounds, just like we did on the red side over there. But we also on this one have a pink at number 19, and we have an orange at number 20. And we also have a orange at 57, a green at 58, and a pink at 75 that we also have to save out of this harness. Okay guys, there you have it. I have removed all the wires that our pinout sheet says that we didn't need. There was one thing I wanted to go over with you real quick though. On my number 75 pin, I said earlier that it should be a pink wire, and that's what the list shows that it should be, but for some reason or another, mine was actually brown. Number 57 was also yellow instead of orange. It really doesn't matter what color the wire is. What we're really going for is just make sure that there's a wire in that hole. So if yours happens to be a different color for whatever reason, don't worry about it, don't stress over it. The other thing, this here OB2 port has an extra wire on it as well. The orange wire is going to be a power and can be connected with all of these orange and pink wires here, and now brown. The 2 black wires are grounds. The purple wire is actually the one that's going to feed all the info to the computer. So that's what this green wire that's left over here all by itself is going to attach to, is the purple. This has a green in it for some reason, but it is not a green that needs to be attached to this green. I don't know where this came from or what this was going to originally either. So I'm going to just go ahead and remove this from here as well, just so there's no confusion. So now we're to the point where we're ready to start putting everything together. So what my plan here is to take the plugs. I've already got kind of a makeshift harness stuck together here, and it's going to end up going into this gang box. This gang box has a hole in the end of it. I'm just going to put all the wires through there and then be able to do all the wiring and soldering and everything that we need to do inside this box, so it'll be a nice clean setup. Once we've got everything all wired together, it's going to have a plate over it That'll clean everything up, make it all nice and decent looking. And then I'm gonna have a power switch and a power switch coming through the top of this. And what these power switches are going to be for is the first one's going to be for battery power to the computer, and the second one is going to be ignition power, so that we can switch those individually. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put the OB2 port on the inside of this box and cut a hole in here where the HP tuners can actually plug right into that, and then it'll be a nice clean little setup. Everything will be in this box with a little harness going over to our plugs for the computer. Then what I've got to power this thing, we've got a universal style adapter that goes from 110 to 12 volt, and it's going to be putting out 1 amp. That's important to keep in mind there on both of those numbers if you're doing this yourself. And rather than just hacking up the wiring harness and all that stuff and then having this permanently hanging outside of the box, my thought was I get a little pigtail, and I got the female side of it, and I'm going to set this inside the box there and wire this all in, and then we can just plug in anytime we need to on the side of the box. And then the cord can be separate from that, so it's a little bit cleaner, a little bit better situation. And then if anything does happen to any of this stuff, I can grab another one of these and just plug right in and be good to go. Alright guys, we're at that moment of truth here where we get to see whether or not I have any idea what I'm doing, or if any of this works, or if it catches on fire and bursts into flames and burns the whole shop down. Hopefully none of that. So we screw those on. We've got our outlet in the back here to plug into our 110. Shouldn't have those on yet. We have that one on. That's our battery. Then the next step is to plug in our HP tuners, and now the ignition. Now, if that's all right, we can come over here to the computer and sorry, should open that up beforehand. See if I can set this up for you here. And we have a green arrow here to read vehicle, so let's read vehicle. And if we've done everything correctly, it will start scanning it here pretty quick. There we go. O2 GMC Yukon, that's what we got it out of. So that's pretty much it, guys. Now we can go from here and do any kind of flashing or whatever it is that we want to do. So if you guys don't want to go through all the trouble of making your own harness, then if you want to send it to me, I'd be happy to go over it for you and flash your computer however you'd like. Get a hold of me, hardcorefab.com, Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Any of those places you can get a hold of us, and we'd be happy to help. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time.